Alright. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, those who bounce in between. Today we're going to be looking at another clip from Vaush. This time it was a debate he had with a fella named Vegan Gains. And in this debate, he makes a very strange, very troubling argument that I would like to address in this video. So let's just get right into it.
So if you were to, there's pedophiles, right, who buy child pornography. Would you say they should not be held responsible for doing that?
Yes.
Really?
No! What did I just stumble into? Let's just start it. Let's just hear it straight from the top.
They should not be pedophiles, right, who buy child pornography. Would you say they should not be held responsible for doing that?
Yes.
Really? Even though they're directly supporting child rape?
Yeah, I think it's hypocritical. If because I bought my computer and the silicon in it was farmed in Africa by slaves. If I can do that and that's legal and no one's gonna call me out on my shit, then yeah, I have to be consistent.
Oh my god.
Okay, look. I think they're.
Are you fucking kidding me? Let's just keep listening just in case it gets a little bit better, but Jesus Christ, dude.
There's levels to this. So I wouldn't equate buying a computer to buying child pornography. I mean, it's in order to pretty much have a job anymore, you need a computer. So do you really think it's reasonable to equate something like buying something that might cause some amount of cruelty, exploitation in the world that you need for your job just to be able to, like, not be homeless, to something that you're buying purely for very shallow personal pleasure that causes horrible, irreparable damage to somebody lifelong?
I mean, we can actually like partition it out. I don't know how much child pornography goes on the market these days. I haven't exactly checked.
Oh, sure you do, Vaush.
But I'd be willing to bet that the total amount of suffering that goes into the child slaves that mine out like the silicon in Africa, you know, in terms of me supporting that industry, I mean, that's pretty bad. And I didn't have to buy a computer this big. I could have bought something smaller. I could have bought a little Chromebook. You know, I don't wonder how many more hours slaves had to mine up that silicon to justify me being able to own this.
Well, it's not silicon, it's elements like coltan.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay. So let's just get right into the the discussion. So Vaush's argument is basically, and I'm paraphrasing here, but his argument's basically that since there's no ethical consumption under capitalism, buying child pornography is basically the same as buying a computer in terms of immorality. So my biggest question here is, why is he trying to argue that child porn, of all things, should be treated the same by society as buying a computer? After all, Vegan Gains put it pretty well. He was like, why is buying a computer something that almost everybody has to have, or at least have access to, on the same moral plane as buying child pornography? I mean, basically, Vaush's whole thing is that computer nerds and pedophiles are just as guilty. They are just as evil. Just as sinister. If you don't want to put it in moral terms, just as antisocial. So, what if we extend the argument? Rather than use computers, which was kind of a strange example, let's just use something that we all need in order to survive. Therefore, we all consume it under capitalism. Food. Let's talk about food. So does everyone who goes to the grocery store and buy food commit the same level of unethical action as someone who buys child pornography? Vaush is trying to argue that all consumers are no better than pedophiles who buy child porn. And let me just explain this. Because there is exploitation at every stage of production, it is impossible to live in a capitalist society without consuming the products of this exploitation. It's like that meme where the medieval peasant says, "We should improve society somewhat," and the guy sitting in the well says, "Oh, that's funny because you live in this society. You live in the feudal society right here." This is basically Vaush holding everybody accountable for consuming the products of capitalist exploitation, even though we're not really responsible for capitalist production. The capitalists are. But I'll get into that right here. So why is Vaush holding the consumers, the majority of which are proletariat, morally responsible for products produced by bourgeois exploitation? Because he's basically scolding all of us for buying computers, participating in the market, saying that we're all no better than pedophiles, or that pedophiles are no better than us, when really he should be holding the bourgeois to account for the exploitation of the workers. It's not the consumer's fault. We all need things to survive. You, me, Vaush, everybody. We all need food and water and video games and computers and big anime titties. And you know what? Just because we consume those things does not make us guilty of exploitation. So basically, Vaush's solution is to legalize child porn, because to him it's just as exploitative as any other method of production under capitalism. This is a big brain anarchist argument by a principled leftist. So now we get in this weird fucking realm of discussion where we have to talk about if all degrees of exploitation and human suffering are equal. And I think anybody who examines this from an objective point of view will see clearly, no, they're not all equal. Why the fuck is Vaush trying to minimize the sexual abuse of children to make a wider argument about ethical consumerism? Just purely from a formulaic standpoint, it's like, why would he go down this road of argument? This guy fancies himself like a master debater, and yet he went down this road of argument which is so weird and taboo and just kind of fucked up that it, if anything, it makes socialists look like fucking clowns. And this is why I repeatedly make videos attacking Vaush, because he's a fucking clown and he's making us all look bad. God damn it. If any vegans out here want to debate somebody on the left who's actually like somewhat, I'm not an expert, I'm not smart, but I'm better than this guy. I won't give you a fucking argument arguing for the legalization of child fucking pornography. So what's the difference between buying a computer and buying child porn? Well, the difference is obvious. Can't believe I have to fucking explain this. But one is the product of rape, and the other is a product of worker exploitation. When you buy child pornography, you are increasing demand and encouraging the rape of future children. Whoever's out there making these sick videos will say, hey, that one sold pretty well. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna go out and rape another child and film it. When you buy a computer, you are contributing to the profit of a capitalist company. Neither of those things is good, but one is clearly worse and directly tied to the suffering of children. While consumption of more, I'll say, normal capitalist produced goods are somewhat distanced from the exploitation of workers through the market system. And that's not a good thing either. But to try to equate the two, to try to compare the sufferings of the proletariat to the sufferings of abused children, it's a pointless exercise. There are many abused children who go on to be workers themselves. So in reality, at least a portion of the suffering of abused children would also fall under capitalist proletarian suffering. But this ignores, this is granting this stupid argument of Vaush's. In short, people who buy child porn belong in prison, and people who buy computers obviously don't. I can't believe I have to explain this, but this is the kind of big brain hot takes you get when you listen to Vaush, someone who is representing the left to all kinds of people. Sargon of Akkad, vegan people, all sorts of different communities. Is this person a worthy ambassador of the left? Let me ask you that. Do you feel comfortable having this person be a spokesman for socialism? I'm not. Vaush is a phony socialist. He's a reactionary clown. And he doesn't belong on this platform. He doesn't deserve the attention he has. And he certainly does not deserve to be the ambassador of the left and of socialism. He is disgracing all of us. And he's disgracing himself. That's my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments down below.